The show can't start until we crack open a bottle of Revelton. Whether it's their crisp, clean vodka, the bold spice of their rye whiskey, the rich smoothness of bourbon, or the original honey whiskey that started it all, every pour is a taste of craft and passion straight from the heart of Iowa. So pour yourself a drink, settle in, and get ready to relax, laugh, and enjoy the show.
Hey, it's Andrew Downs. I'm proud to support Three Beards Media, and I would love to work with you. If you need merchandise for your company, organization, band, softball team, whatever, I can help. From name brand apparel to promotional items, large orders or small, online stores, and more, I can help your brand stand out. AKC Marketing is local, based in Johnston, and we are an employee-owned business, so our costs are low and our turnaround times are fast. But most importantly, we give you personal service to make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. Email me at andrew@akcmarketing.com or find me on social media, and let's make some cool stuff together. Now sit back and enjoy this Three Beards Media podcast.
Red and gold on the edge of the sky, feel the rumble, hear the battle cry. Out in Ames where the storms ignite, we don't back down, we rise and fight. Jack Trice's name, yeah, it echoes strong. A story of honor still marches on. Through the rain, through the pain, through the fire we roar, 'cause we were built to thrive in the eye of the storm. Feel the ground shake, hear the crowd roar. Cyclone power, can't take no more. Legends rise, this is our norm. We stand tall in the eye of the storm. There's a cyclone blowing on the outskirts tonight. Jack Trice shakes when the team takes flight. Milton's rocking, hear the magic call. We rise together, we'll never fall. Feel the magic you can't deny. Rocket stars are taking off straight to the sky. Brick, big play, Kirby making history. When the moment gets tough, that's the cyclone way. Through the trenches, through the lane, through the heat, through the rain. When the storm comes blowing, we embrace the fight. 'Cause the cyclones strike when the time is right. Feel the cyclones strike when the time.
All right, welcome back to the Side of the Storm, where we talk all things Cyclones. We are live from the AKC Marketing Studio with Andrew Downs and sponsored by Revelton Distilling Company out of Osceola, Iowa. And we welcome our newest sponsor to Three Beards Media, styled by JJ's Boutique. And guys, I had a chance to meet JJ on Monday night with Chris Shipley hosting Old Man Strength, and she some style. She definitely brings some style, much more style than we probably can bring to the here with my Storm Team partners and Cyclone greats, Mr. Vintage, Brent Big Play Curvey, and the legend Marcus Pfizer. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
What up? What up?
And tonight we have a very special guest, a fourth member to the team, another Cyclone legend that a lot of us remember, and a guy that really helped to start this drive of success that we've seen under the football team. A guy that I just found out, I had not known this, but had a nickname of Big Cell Block, and I should have known better, but Marcel Howard, welcome to the show. Glad to have you on tonight.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right, so Cyclones are coming off a big game over the weekend. Well, just yesterday against Arizona at home, a big whiteout game. Boy, that was a lot of fun to be a part of, sitting up there up in the stands. And I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it from home or from the stadium, but it was an absolutely beautiful afternoon, beautiful evening. I think they opened up all the tailgate lots fairly early to accommodate, because it was just another sellout crowd there in the stadium. Cyclones end up having a big win over Arizona. Gentlemen, any initial thoughts on that game? It was a little bit slow in going, but very methodical. Cyclones just kept coming, and Arizona didn't seem really to have an answer outside of that first drive of the game. It was all Cyclones the entire game.
Yeah,
Right. I'll just kind of jump in here. But I think that's been, I think that's kind of been the character of the Iowa State Cyclones this year in regards to being relentless when it comes to trying to win those football games. I mean, there's a lot of you saw a lot of character and grit being displayed, not only in the previous 4 games, but yesterday as well. And I think if they can continue showing how tough they are, they're going to have one hell of a season.
Brent, were you able to watch it, or were you down and watching that Kansas game?
Nah,
No, I was. Okay.
Oh no, Kansas played early. They had an early kickoff, so got to sneak in a couple plays there just to see if my boy got some burn, but he didn't. So I quickly turned that one off. But I was kind of scouting Cincinnati a little bit too, though, get an idea how both teams played. But yeah, I was watching the game, man, glued to the tube the whole time. So it was dope to see it on the TV side of things, man. The crowd and the atmosphere looked electric.
Well, and we were able to see really the Chase Sowell game that he had 4 catches for 146 yards, and really came out, got the crowd electrified with that deep pass from Rocco. And then the Cyclones went for 2, which was a rather unique experience sitting there and seeing how that played out. Got everyone even more excited than what we already were after the touchdown. Coach Campbell had made reference that he was we're on our 3rd string kicker, Chase Smith, wanted to give him a chance to just settle down a little bit, relax, not be so jazzed up. And it really, I think it had the effect that he wanted to see, because after that, Smith came in and he was solid the rest of the evening on all of his extra points and did what he had to do in replacement of Kyle Conradi, who's continuing to be out for at least for the initial part of this season. We'll see what it looks like for these last half of the year. But any thoughts on that, on the Chase Sowell experience here against Arizona? Marcus, what about you?
It was, great to see. I know when we scored the first touchdown, we went for 2, so it was kind of like, what is going to be for the rest of the game? But, he gave him the shot to be able to come in and be productive. And, it was good to see, being a fan of the game, being a fan of the program, watching from at home now, like it's a great feeling to be able to, expect greatness, good play. I was a little nervous about this game, but, the game began and then we start to understand how good we are as a ball club. And so majority of the things, some things happen, don't make a pass or something. I always feel like we're not reaching for an advancement. I feel like it's going to happen, step by step, methodically. We're going to be able to make something happen. It's not like in the past, where it's like, oh, what's going to happen next? We're going to be 3 and out. We always expect something big is going to happen. And even if we are 3 and out now, we feel like, okay, if we kick the ball off, our defense is going to hold, we're going to get it back. So it's a great time to be a Cyclone for sure.
Well, and some of the struggles that we saw that last game, tackling in that secondary is so much better. I mean, Trey Bell, I love watching him play. Caleb Bacon, I really thought showed up as well. I think he had 8 or 9 tackles, and a lot of these tackles were tough solo tackles, taking out the receiver, the running back, keeping them to a really short game. It was just a lot of the things that I think that they needed to work on. They did during that bye week, and then having Sowell coming back, and Campbell talked a little bit after the game that really he didn't have much of a fall camp. I don't think any of us really knew that he really participated in 4 practices and then was injured and then came back the week before the Ireland game or the week of the Ireland game. So really for him, he's just now getting back into the swing of things, and he just took off last night against Arizona. That again, that was fun to watch, and I love the creativity that Mouse is continuing to show on offense. We're seeing that swinging gate on that 2-pointer. We're seeing some of those passes, and you can't turn away. It's so much fun to watch.
Right, and you bring up a good point, and I think it's important for Iowa State to start establishing different plays, different looks, because right now, they're the team to beat in the Big 12, right? So the more plays and almost disguises that they could use, get on film for other teams, I think that's just going to help them be more successful as they play the second half of the season.
Yeah.
Did you all see the Rocco running statistic after the game? I think he had 9 rushes for negative 10 yards, but he did have 3 touchdowns.
How does that happen?
Well, that's all that counts.
I know. That was incredible to see. Well, and I love the I was calling it the flying V, but that their version of the tush push, where he has the 2 running backs and they're in that sort of V awkward setup there on offense. I thought that was pretty creative too to see. I can see them doing some unique things out of that set.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, Mouse didn't look, he looked pretty aggressive this game, man. That was exciting to see more than anything for me. Because, you know, we sometimes, I feel like we'll play or almost coach to the level of our competition instead of going out and just trying to win ball games. Like letting our best players play and go out and make plays and trusting Rocco to make the right reads and the right throws. Because, I mean, quite a few of those balls Rocco was throwing was on point, man. I mean, it would especially so well. You know, he's a step behind the defender, and he wasn't breaking stride and have to slow down to come back to the ball. He was dropping right in the bucket. So it's good to see. You can see the trust creeping out, and now, you know, week in, week out, it's going to be a struggle because it's the Big 12 regardless. But I agree with Marcel, man. I think after kind of watching other teams, I think we're the team to beat in the Big 12 right now.
And Jaybird had posted on YouTube, it looks like, you know, the injury bug is starting to rear its ugly head again. You know, last year we got used to the depleted linebacking core. This year we started to see the 2 kickers out, and now we're really seeing some damage being done with Captain Jeremiah Cooper, who's now officially out. We saw some rumors earlier in the week that he may have torn his ACL. Coach Campbell is mentioning a ligament, so we'll just keep it at that. But he's scheduled for surgery earlier in the week. We saw also in the defensive backfield, Deshaun James, who he'd come out. I did see him return to the game. Kejon Cummings-Coleman, who he looked like he was in a ton of pain after the game. That it looked like his shoulder or clavicle or something. I'm sure we'll hear a little bit more about that earlier in the week. Big Dom Orange, Big Citrus had come out for a bit. I think he returned, but then he ended up, I think he was more in the latter half of the fourth quarter. I don't think he played nearly as much. And boy, Xavier Townsend, the way that he got hit on that punt, I don't know how he returned to the game. It was a solid hit. Illegal as hell. But he was hit hard. I don't know how he came back. Tough kid.
Well, I mean, these guys definitely know about football a lot more than me. And, I mean, that's just the nature of the game. Like, I mean, has anybody ever played, like, every single game for their entire career in football? I mean, you're going to go through so many different injuries and things of that nature. I mean, that's a lot of big, strong guys running into each other at high speeds. And I don't think a lot of people understand that, you know, people like the aspect of the game, of it being a game, but people don't understand, like, you know, these some big, strong guys. You guys, some big, strong guys are running into each other and grabbing it. I was telling my wife the other day, like, I can imagine, like, how the biceps, you know, when you go to tackle and all of that be, you know, just constantly over and over and over again. So it's just a testament to, you know, what you guys go through, without a doubt. But, you know, it comes with the game. Like, you know, you're going to try to get as much as you can out of guys for the entire season. But, you know, you understand that injuries is going to come for sure.
Right, exactly, Marcus, and that's a really good point. I mean, it definitely is a part of the game. And I think something that we have to keep in mind as a fan base is the fact that these other schools are going through the same injuries that we are, right? So if you look across the board when it comes to injuries throughout the longevity of a season, I mean, there really is, what it really comes down to is which team has the better backups, if that makes any sense, especially in the second half, because you're going to be rotating in a lot of guys back and forth due to injury. So, and it looks like, you know, Matt Campbell has done an excellent job of recruiting and having stand-up guys that could go in and next man up, right? So I really don't foresee a big drop-off when it comes to adding in the number 2s and number 3s on the depth chart. I think Matt Campbell, like I said, has done a really good job of recruiting the right guys. And when it comes to Iowa State football, like we don't necessarily are the talented, but we definitely are the biggest badasses, if that makes any sense.
Marcel, you talk about this being having the talent and the backups to come in and do the job. You know, you were really part of a very special team. You know, I think a lot of us look back at that 2000, the Inside Bowl champion team, and you were such an important part of that. I remember our offensive and defensive lines, for that matter. It felt like, so I graduated in '94. It felt like we had some big guys. We could not compete at that level. Then a guy like you comes in.
Right.
Were you seriously a tight end at first? Were you recruited in as a tight end? Did I read that
So
correctly?
yeah, exactly. I was a tight end all through high school. I came in. I'll never forget my first day of two-a-days. I played one practice at tight end. The coach was like, "No, we got to shift your offensive line. You're too big. You're too big." So yeah, and I was slow. I didn't have good hands, so it was a good move. It was a win-win situation for everyone.
So could you have been the Caden Proctor of our day? Could you have taken a pass like Caden Proctor did last night for Alabama?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, that was always my dream I always wanted to either, you know, catch a pass in the end zone or be like a fullback on the goal line and just do what Fridge used to do with the Bears.
Oh yeah. That's every lineman's dream right there.
Yeah. And Curvey, you know all about that because you had multiple scores playing defense.
I was in the right time. Yeah, I was in the right place at the right time. But that's like I said, it's a dream. I get that ball in my hands. I'm trying to get out of there. There's too many bodies coming after me, and I got a better chance of getting caught. So we got to get out of here.
So Marcel, did you have to be convinced very, very hard to make that switch? Because you're going from, you know, tight end, sort of that sexy position, right? You have a chance to catch the ball and score touchdowns to the offensive lineman. You don't, not unless the quarterback's being sacked, you really don't get much accolades either way, right?
No, you don't. But the thing about me, I mean, you brought up tight end being a sexy position. The good thing about me is I've never been a sexy guy, so it just made sense for me to move to offensive line. But you're absolutely right. Offensive linemen, we don't get our name called unless we're messing up, right? So you know, I think it takes a special personality to, first of all, be an offensive lineman, and to number two, not necessarily want or gratification that you get that every other position gets, right? So it's and I kind of think, going back to that 2000 team that you spoke of earlier. You know, we were not the most athletic. We weren't the most skilled. But I think the one thing that really truly differentiates that offensive line from a lot of other offensive lines is the fact that we always had each other's back, no matter what. I mean, I remember times there I would, you know, mess up on a play, have a miss assignment. It didn't matter because the guard next to me, Ben Bodette, I mean, he had my back every time. So it was a trust thing. It was a heart thing. I've never seen a group of guys with more heart. Not just on the offensive line, but that 2000 squad. I mean, just a group of guys that knows what it takes to get the job done, and I'm really proud and honored to be a part of that team.
Well, and I could remember watching, you know, those Iowa teams. That streak was just ugly, and really, it was one of your early seasons that made that flip, right? You went into Iowa City, snapped the streak, and then started your own streak. Did you ever lose against Iowa?
Never. I live right outside of Chicago, and there's a lot of Hawkeyes, and that's the one thing I always tip my hat on is the fact that I've never lost to the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Now you were back, a month or so ago to be recognized at halftime for one of the early games, correct? For the Inside Bowl champions. What was it like coming back, seeing everyone again?
It was in a lot of ways it was like nothing changed. We were all still having the same jokes with each other. Pretty much, I feel like we left that locker room 25 years ago, and we came back and we're still the same people. Still, like I said, cracking on each other like we normally would. But it was really great. It was really heartwarming to have that experience. Tom Green did a really good job as far as, Mike Green did a really good job as far as coordinating that event and making us all feel, special, welcome. And it was a really good time. And the thing is, Matt Campbell, again, I think he's done a really good job as far as encouraging old school legacy players to come back to Ames. And that's something I think that just kind of bodes how great and how successful Matt Campbell is as a coach.
So I want to show a picture of you. You were, again, as we were comparing against the offensive line and defensive lines of other universities, your teams were really the first teams that I remember that you could match up size-wise, the physicality piece. And we're seeing some of that really playing out in today's era, because that's something that I think our lines, you look at the short runs from last night's game against Arizona. We manhandled Arizona. When those fourth and short or third and short, we could press a button and take over that and get the first down, which is really refreshing to see. So how did you get to be the size that you were? I mean, you came in as a tight end, and did you start playing as a sophomore? I knew you were playing as a junior. Did you start as a sophomore?
Yeah, so I actually I started rotating in my freshman year, and I started a few games my redshirt freshman year. So I was technically a 3.5, 4-year starter. How I got that size, probably genetics, right? A lot of Doritos, a lot of peanut butter, a lot of overeating. Now, the thing is, what sucks is the fact that I can't trim that weight. I mean, it's still there.
Right.
So that's the disadvantage. But at the same time, you're absolutely right. There was a lot of grit with that team. I think one of the things, if you look back at our line, I think as far as sacks are concerned, I don't think we had over double digits of sacks. I don't think we had over 10 sacks that season. And again, I think that goes back to just the mentality of that offensive line. And then we also had Steve Loney as a coach. He went on to be successful in the NFL. He was with the Cowboys. So we had a really good foundation. And it was a very special group.
Well, in Coach Loney, he was another creative play caller, as I recall, right? Wasn't he part of that 98 team where you see J.J. Moses hopping around on the end around on that first play of the game against Iowa?
Yeah, I think he had left at that time. I think I want to say Pete Hainer came in to coach offensive line right there, and I can't remember who the offensive coordinator responsibilities were. If you don't know, I had a lot of concussions, so my memory sometimes goes away.
But you had some really good players, right? You had Sage as your quarterback. You had Ennis Haywood,
correct,
running back.
Rest in peace, Ennis Haywood.
Yes. And of course, Reggie Hayward, who Marcus talks frequently about, and Brent talks about quite a bit. Reggie was an intimidating force on that defensive line. What was it like going up against him every day?
I loved it because the old adage, steel sharpens steel, right?
Right.
So we would get at it. But we got at it for the 3 years that we played together. It was, and I kind of think having players like Reggie Hayward, James Reed, Ryan Harklaw, Kevin Durande, those are all really good Division I, Big 12 caliber athletes, and going against those guys every day, like I said, just really helped us as offensive line better our skill set, right?
Yeah, and a number of players from that team played in the NFL too, right?
Yep. I know James Reed was on that team, Reggie Hayward. I'll have to look at the roster.
And there's also
JJ, Mike Banks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Mike Banks.
Carson's, who I think Brent, you replaced Jordan Carson's when he left, right? Or he was injured and you came in for him?
Yep.
Carson was there. I had a brief stint with the Lions. Like it was, we had some players that were definitely talented.
So that 2000 team, I had to go back and look it up because I just remember all the good parts. But I was surprised to see you were picked for 5th in the Big 12 North, and of course finished that season 8-3. Went in to play Pitt in the Inside.com Bowl. What's your recollection of just how that season played out and preparing to go play in a bowl game? And, for at that time, that was the biggest bowl game. I think a lot of us as fans, 30,000 people filled up the Bob down in Arizona. Half of Iowa emptied out to go down there to watch that game.
Right. I would have to say we weren't surprised, and I don't really want to speak for everybody, but for myself, I wasn't surprised. I knew the amount of work that we had put going into that season. The back on every helmet right now says, I will, right? And I think as a collective, we felt that we will. We will be successful that season. We will make it to a bowl game. Not only will we go to that bowl game, we will win that bowl game. So I think the overall mentality of just doing the best we can and making sure that we can win games, I think that was just instilled in us, especially after starting off 3-0, right? Because that's something we didn't do that you haven't seen before at Iowa State. So we did that 2 years in a row. Then, just carrying that momentum from those early games. And yeah, we had some stumbles. And the thing is, when we had stumbles that season, we stumbled hard. We lost big against Kansas State. We lost big against Nebraska. I want to say we lost big maybe against A&M, maybe. I can't remember. But there's 2 or 3 games where we totally just were dominated. And I think those were good lessons, good learning lessons to help us finish out the season strong.
I don't think you lost 2 games in a row either that season. I don't
think so.
Wikipedia. It looks like started off 4-0, then lost to Nebraska, who was number 1. They came into Ames, which that would have been a heck of a win to beat the number 1 ranked team at Jack Trice at the time. So yeah, you never lost more than 2 in a row, or more than 1 in a row.
Right. Yep.
So
it's been a long time since Nebraska been number 1. People don't remember. I told you, people don't remember them teams. That Nebraska team, K-State back then, those were some powerhouses, like crazy. Like we used to play them on the NCAA football game. Like you can't get Nebraska, you can't get K-State. They used to be that good.
Right. Yeah. And they were, not only were they good, but they were big. They're big and strong, right? And I remember K-State always had really good, fast linebackers. Same with Nebraska, but K-State's linebackers, they're as tall as I was, but, twice as fast,
What are some of your favorite memories with playing at Iowa State or the Ames community? You're a Davenport kid, right? Your family, you have a brother that played in the NFL as well, correct?
Yeah, my brother, Austin, he was actually, funny story about that, he was actually our water boy. So he would come on the sidelines and give everybody, water. He had his own six case of water bottles that he would hand out to everybody. But yeah, he had a pretty good, almost a decade career with various teams throughout the league. But the thing that I do like about Iowa, and I'm sure Brent and Marcus could agree with me, is the fan base. Not necessarily at the games, but just when the fans see you out in public,
right?
It's a very warm and welcoming community that Ames has. That I think you're not going to see replicated in other college towns. I felt, and I don't know how it is now, but back then I felt like the town of Ames completely embraced us. And you know, a lot of the kids, you know, they're far away from home, and you know, it wasn't out of reach to see you know, families, you know, bringing in kids, and you know, just making them feel welcome, just that home away from home, right? Which is important. And I've been to a lot of, you know, different colleges, campuses, and I could tell you this, that Ames is definitely special when it comes to that aspect.
I was going to ask you guys tonight, because you come from that student athlete perspective. I was in Ames this weekend. My pretty much I just got back a couple of hours ago. My son his fraternity was having like a dad's weekend, so I stayed up there and did that. And we all went out Friday night and Saturday night. And the student athlete doesn't matter, but it looked like they were being harassed a little bit by another student. Is that something that you guys really had to be cognizant of when you're out with your friends? Like, you should be able to experience the same things that other students do as well. But were you ever in a situation where, like, you just were being razzed on because you were a football player, you're a basketball player, and how did you deal with situations like that? Or maybe you didn't because everyone knew who you were.
I don't think I ever got harassed. So, and these guys are just about as big as me as football players. So I don't know if they got harassed too much either. But I don't know if it has to be because we were known. But I never got harassed at all.
Yeah, no, it was.
I'm just going to answer no comment.
Okay. Well, you three are scary enough for me. I don't know. The student have to be dumb, but I'm sure that there was some alcohol involved in that. And I just saw it taking shape, and I thought, that guy is making a very dumb decision if he thinks he's going to get into a altercation with another student who is a student athlete that is much bigger than he was. So,
I mean,
liquid courage is a thing.
There was a group of athletes that athletes though, so not just normal people, but and I say that because, you know, obviously the training's different and, you know, how guys are built different, but there was a group of athletes that we would, you know, there'd be after some too many, maybe beer bongs or something or keggers or whatever. Yeah, sometimes they start to size you up. You know, they usually have cauliflower ears and all that, so they don't care how big you are. You know what I'm saying? So they built a little different, but that's probably the only group of people that would say anything. But I think personal experience, I never had any issues with anybody.
Yeah, maybe I should do a better job at remembering my audience and the fact that you guys are so big man on campus, literally the big man on campus. Marcel, do you remember playing or seeing Mr. Pfizer walking around campus? Because you would have been up there at the exact same time.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. I remember. I don't know if I ever told Marcus this, but my mom had a secret crush on Marcus Pfizer.
Oh,
Yeah,
that never was
she used to love watching him play basketball. She literally tuned into every game that he was playing that was televised at that time. And
well, I hope I made her proud.
Did you talk to Mark? Did you talk? Yeah, I talked to him all the time. I remember this one time Marcus thought he could actually lift weights with the football players for about a
I was trying. Got a little bit of it in there. I started telling Coach Station, man, and I think this is gonna make me too strong for basketball. Man, Getty was kicking my ass in that weight room. I think this is gonna make me a little bit too strong for basketball. Man, come on. But it helped a lot.
Yeah.
So, Marcel, what are we doing today? What's your life look like today?
Like I said, I'm out in the Chicago burbs. I have a 7-year-old son who's in 2nd grade. He's actually playing flag football right now. This past Saturday, he scored his 4th touchdown. So,
Nice.
Proud daddy moment.
What city you in?
Right now I'm in Oswego.
Okay.
So right outside Naperville. So I run a sales team for a boiler manufacturer. I don't know anything about boilers, but I know how to manage people and encourage and motivate people. So I guess that's my calling. And I really can't complain. Just really looking forward to spending as much time with my son as I can, and just trying to instill in him the values and the work ethic it takes. I think he's an athletic kid, and I want to see him go a lot farther than Daddy did.
I think we all feel the same way.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Was there any one coach that had a more that you are today?
Can you kind of faded out? Can you repeat that question?
Sure. Is there a coach that had a more profound impact on your life and the person that you are today?
Well, I think going back, looking at all the coaches, and Marcus, he brought this up. He brought this man's name up, but I think Matt McGettigan, our strength and conditioning coach. Dan McCartney was great. He did a great job as far as leading that program, turning that program around. And I think one of the things that when people look at, the success, Iowa State did have back then was based on our strength and conditioning coach, Coach Getty. You saw, at the end of the year, we give our player tributes. I don't think there's one player that did not give a shout out or recognition to Coach Getty. He was someone that could motivate anybody. He knew how to drill into people's unique, different personalities. I mean, ask Marcus. I mean, he pushed you, and you wanted to give him your best effort, right? I mean, I'll never forget him being on the sidelines. Cell block, come on, cell block. We need you on this play. We need you to make this block. He always encouraging us, and I think that if you talk to any Iowa State football player from back then, they would give you the same response. But Getty was our pulse. He was the heart and soul when it comes to coaching for that team.
Man, to that, I hated Getty. So I don't know if he put y'all through in the beginning. Let me say that. Let me rephrase that. So I didn't like him in the beginning because I was a freshman.
Yeah.
I came from Texas, and I'm like, I was lifting all this weight in high school, and I get to Iowa State, and Getty's like, he had that moment where he's like, I don't give a fuck who you are or where you came from. Right. You're going to do it the right way, or, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to do it. So, it went from, not bringing the dumbbells in the weight room to I had to start over. So you talking, I was benching 405 and squatting, 500 pounds, but everything I did was 135. So I'm pissed because I'm like, there's no way I'm getting better, bro. I'm doing everything power cleaning 135. I'm like, what is this? He's like, your form sucks. And I'm like, man, this dude. And Getty he didn't make me, but he challenged me a lot. And obviously I didn't see it as a freshman because all I could think of was like, this isn't getting me any better, and this is trash. And I don't know why I'm, dealing with all of this stuff. And it was after we went 2-10 my freshman year, and we were in the weight room, and he was all in my face, and he was like, "What are you gonna leave? You gonna walk out? You gonna quit?" I was like, "Yeah, fuck this." So I left. So I dropped the weights and just walked out the weight room. But I spent the week as a normal student, came back, and then Getty just all of a sudden had this immense respect for me because I came in, I took my punishment on the chin, I apologized to him, did what I had to do. And after that, I started getting the same thing you got, right? He's like, "Come on, Kurt, where you at? Like, I need you right now. We need to stop. So then it was, he was like, "Oh, okay, well, I got to him. So now I know I can trust him." And then you got to get, you understood the lesson behind it. But boy, when I tell you, I did not like him in the beginning, but I loved him.
I just remember saying to myself every day, I don't have to be with this guy every day. After this little session, I'm going back to my lane and let these guys have this. Because, I mean, people don't understand in a football weight room, man, how much weight is moving around in there. It's like it's weights everywhere. You don't see that in no basketball weight. I mean, you may see a guy with 225 doing something. It's probably me, but it's like, okay, I got 2 plates on each side. I see these guys got 4 plates squatting them. Like, come on, man. I don't even supposed to be in there. This is not even my life. But I just kept remembering, just for this little bit of time, it's gonna make me better the next season, whatever. And these guys can have it. I'm not staying in there, and I'm not coming back.
Well, now we know why you did not end up playing tight end in basketball.
Would have loved to though.
So how about some of these, did you immediately follow some of these, like the Brent Curvey teams that followed immediately after you graduated and moved on from the program? Or what was that like for you, looking back over the years and seeing some of these teams play? And do you do any compare and contrast with the teams that we see today?
I think there always is some type of compare and contrast because, I mean, you could ask Brent this, you could ask Marcus this. I mean, you always compare your squad to who's ever on the table next, right?
Absolutely.
You know, and it's I think it's just something that we do naturally as athletes because we do have egos, just in case you didn't know, and we always want to be at the upper echelon, right, at the top. So there's always a comparison, always.
But are you able to look back, and this is something that we talk about quite a bit, is the fact that you three represent what the program has now become. I mean, I don't want to call you grandpa, but you're really those senior members that helped to build the foundation to what we are today. Do you draw that same parallel that a lot of us as fans see, that you're the ones that really put in the hard work to help lay the foundation for what we see today?
So I think the term that you were looking for is OG. So you are the OG.
That's it.
Definitely those.
Yeah, I as far as I'm concerned, I don't know. You know, when guys like Coach Mack or Coach Loney come back and, you know, they talk about, you know, the things that we did to establish that and kind of get things turned around. To me, that's the only time I kind of really pay attention to that. It might be different for Brent, might be different for Marcus. Well, actually, Iowa State basketball has always been pretty good, so I don't think there was really much of a turnaround. But no, I don't really think about that a lot, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, I would argue that you guys have set that foundation, you know, as that OG team. I mean, you look today at that Jack Trice Stadium and the south end zone being bowled in. I mean, it's because of your teams that helped to establish sort of the expectations for the program. And certainly Coach Campbell's taken it to the next level. Now we're seeing Fiesta Bowls. Right. We're seeing 11-3 seasons, and we're seeing 2 consecutive years where we start the season 5-0. Things that we've not seen before is now becoming the norm. But without teams like the 2000 team, I don't know that we're who we are today without some of the.
I mean, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah, except that's a good way to look at it. I think I'm more or less just focused on the success that the team is having right now. Right.
All right.
I think, like you talked about the end zone, the south end zone. I mean, I took my son about a month ago to that game, and I mean, it was night and day compared to when we played there, right? So, I mean, just to see what Coach Campbell has done with the AD has done as far as bringing in money, excitement. I mean, the whiteout game. Who would ever thought that Iowa State would have a whiteout game, right? Like that was awesome. I mean, just looking at that view on TV, it's just it's cool because the fact that, you know, I get to tell my son, hey, Dad used to play here. You know, Dad used to be on the field here, and it's really good what they're doing right now.
Is it safe to say that you're a fan of the Cy-NATO logo versus the current I-State?
Absolutely not. I hated the logo when I played, and I hate it now.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm against popularly whatever. I cannot stand the Sineado. I hate it. I love the eye. I love the strip. Actually,
you don't like this one.
No, that's what I look like. That's what I look at when I want to make myself throw up if I've eaten too much bad food.
Yeah.
So, are you a fan of the black jerseys and the whites?
Love the black jersey. Love the black jersey. I wish they wore black all the time.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you think that we should, because there's an audience out there that will yell and scream, "We're getting too far away from our primary colors."
I welcome the comments. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate comments about that, but I think the black jerseys are sick. Like those are the best Iowa State jerseys I've ever seen in my life.
But it's all kind of programs have an alternate standoff jersey.
Yeah.
It's not getting away from.
Right.
It's not like there's going to be a road jersey and then the home jersey is going to be all white. I mean, we're going to we're going to have our regular cardinal and gold and everything else that comes along with it. But having that black jersey or the all white is a standout thing that and we play well when we do it. I never got we never got a piece of that hype. Nike wasn't. Oh shit, we didn't have Nike back then. We had Russell and all that. Those different brands.
We had Russell and Reebok. Was who we had.
Yeah. And you had yellow, Marcus. You had yellow.
Don't break up the yellow jerseys, man. That one was terrible. When Larry Eustace first came and he came with Adidas, so it was a different material and everything. And whew, man, I almost want to practice in my jersey once he came.
All right, hey, let's take a quick time out here, a word from our sponsors, and we'll come back on the other side and talk more with Marcel Howard.
Making great tasting bourbon requires the perfect combination of ingredients, conditions, and time. The longer it rests, the better it tastes. Revelton Distillery's new single barrel bourbon is made from 80% corn, sourced 100% from Iowa farmers. And unlike mass-produced bourbons, each barrel of Revelton's single barrel bourbon is unique, proofed on when it tastes best. As they like to say, it'll be ready when it's ready. And to ensure the highest standards of quality and flavor, owners Rob and Christy Taylor oversee the production and bottling. Every single barrel. Iowa born, Iowa aged, Iowa bottled. Try the new single barrel bourbon from Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com.
Gentlemen, let's be honest. Finding the perfect gift for your wife or girlfriend isn't always easy. You want something thoughtful, stylish, and unique. And that's exactly what you'll find at Styled by JJ Boutique. Julia Bradshaw and her team strive to be your go-to boutique for casual, boho, and chic clothing and accessories, helping women elevate their style one piece at a time. Located right here in Johnston, Iowa, Styled by JJ brings trendy, high-quality fashion that boosts confidence without breaking the bank. So, if you're looking for a gift that says, "I get you," instead of "I tried," head to Styled by JJ Boutique. Because nothing makes her smile like feeling beautiful. Styled by JJ Boutique, where style meets confidence. Visit our Johnston location or shop online at styledbyjjboutique.com.
We are back to the side of the storm. Dave Larson here with Brent Gervais, Marcus Pfizer, and Marcel Howard. So the next game, next weekend, 11 o'clock kickoff for those of us in the central part of the country against Cincinnati at Cincinnati. Brent, when we went through our preview at the beginning of the year, this is a game that you had as a definite win. I had it as the first loss. I just was nervous about it. You said you did a little scouting of Cincinnati over the weekend. What are your thoughts for this weekend?
I mean, let's be clear though, Dave. You was nervous about this game that we just played too. Coming up,
that's true. That's true.
Just saying.
Nervous about all.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. It seems like, but no.
Well, but I think Cincinnati ran for 3 bills. I mean, they ran quite a bit this weekend, right?
Yeah, they ran quite a bit. I think Kansas struggled a little bit in the run game. Sorsby looked good, so I think we'll have to contain him quite a bit. He made some decent throws. on the move, but they are dangerous. I'll say that. But obviously, it's Big 12 and now it's conference ball, so every team we play is dangerous. But I think it's I think Haycock puts the plan together the way our secondary is playing. As long as we can, create some sort of rush and maintain Sorsby or keep him in the pocket and not allow him to just get loose, I think it's a game that we'll win pretty, handily.
Okay. Marcel, did you notice this past weekend, especially as an offensive lineman, it looked like that we were bringing on the defensive side a little bit more pressure this game. I saw a little bit more 4-man front versus the three-man that we've been known for. Do you see any differences this game that really led to the success that we had against Arizona?
Yeah, well, I mean, you brought up two really good points, and this is something that I kind of talked about earlier previously in the discussion is showing differences, such as a 4-man front on defense, shake things up a bit, because the more, I guess you could, I don't want to say confuse, but the more that you could throw at an opponent, the more that they have to prepare for, right? So the more things that you could have your opposing team prepare for, I think that's just going to set you up for success when it comes to playing those games. So I think continuing to do what they're doing, and you're right, they shook some things up on the offensive side of the ball as well. I think in order to be successful, we're going to have to see a lot more of that, not just sprinkles here and there. I think that we're going to have to do a lot more maybe gadget plays. I hate the term gadget plays, but like I said, we need to show other teams a lot more different looks.
So maybe some of those plays like we saw with Bramer, I thought that it was interesting when that unfolded. I immediately stood up, and after he threw it and got down to the goal line, the guy sitting next to me said, "You saw that the whole way, didn't you?" I go, "Yep." Just one of those things that unfolded. I loved because it was my end of the field, my end zone area, so it was really cool to see. But it looks like things like that, and come to find out, he wasn't even the primary receiver. I don't know who was.
Right.
Maybe we'll find that against Cincinnati, but it's plays like that. You're right. I think we're showing some different things that other teams are going to have to be paying attention to and have to play against.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm interested in the offensive play calling itself. Maybe this is something you could follow up on. I wonder if they're going in with 2 plays at a time in different occasions and checking out of those plays if they're not seeing the right front.
That's one thing that Coach Campbell has talked about, that Rocco has some flexibility. He's got so much experience playing that I think he's got carte blanche to call something different if he doesn't like what he sees at the line of scrimmage. So I guess that's one of the benefits of having an experienced signal caller.
Right. I saw a couple times last night. I was wondering that because the play that they ran against the defense that was set up, it didn't make a sense, 2 or 3 times, or maybe 3 or 4 times. So I was just curious as to if that's what they were doing.
Well, and I think that in watching Mouse these last couple seasons, he likes to play around a little bit, and I don't want to call it a throwaway play, but he comes up with some creative looks just to see what the defense does, and I think he puts it back in somewhere in his mind that, hey, I'm going to pull that out later in the game. He's really fantastic with things like that.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, we come to expect that from him now. More so than ever now, because it is big plays. We tend to convert them. They're very exciting, get the crowd going and everything like that. And for the most part, I think a lot of times in the past, people just don't expect Iowa State to pull anything like that. So it's always great to see that we can do what the other guys can do, and can do it even better.
Yeah, I would agree. I would like to see us go more for it on 4th and short situations. I want to get a little more aggressive on that aspect.
We may see that with that new flying V. I love that. I love that lineup. I just love how they do it. Well, you saw the Eagles today. You know, they did they lined up for their tush push, and then ended up doing
Right.
a different play where Saquon came around the end. I can see Iowa State doing something like that in that formation.
Yeah. Yep. But the thing is, I mean, what really set that up for the Eagles is the fact that every time they line up that way, they're given a tush push. So I think it's going to have, if Iowa State's going to be successful with what you're talking about, I mean, they're going to have to line up in that flank quite a few more times, I think.
Yeah. Hey guys, any thoughts? Mike Gundy was fired earlier this week on Tuesday, following they've really not had a very successful last couple of seasons. Any thoughts on Coach Gundy? You know, he was the second highest tenured coach in the FBS next to Coach Ferentz out of Iowa. Any thoughts on Gundy's termination?
Well, he's a man and he's 40, right? So
you'll be all right.
Yeah, but no, I understand the firing. I don't like it. The man's been with the program, like you said. He had a lot of tenure with the university. He played. He was a quarterback there. I don't like midseason firings. I mean, pretty much what that tells me is that you're folding for the season. I would have liked to see him at least, if they were going to get rid of him and replace him. I would have liked to see him stay throughout the remainder of the season.
Right.
I agree.
Well, and that's something that we saw with Coach McCarney, right? You know, they allowed him to coach his last game, which is obviously the appropriate thing to do. And I don't know if they needed to make a decision on Coach Gundy this early, but obviously he pissed off enough donors that they ponied up to pay out his fee. But yeah, I'm surprised that they did it this soon as well.
Right.
Yeah, a guy like that, man, that's been involved with the program, like you said, deserves a little bit more respect. You know, almost give him his almost like a farewell tour, let him go out kind of on his own, on his own board. Obviously, you can let him know that time is up, but I think, given his position within that school and his program, man, I think it's only fair that he at least gets to finish out this season and can, potentially groom somebody else up, because the reality is you're not going to have a turnaround right now because you're going to have an interim head coach. There's not going to be a real big change within your program. So you're better off letting him finish it out. That way somebody else new can come in and, get the ball moving from there. But I mean, that's nature.
Is now the best time to do it, because when there's a coach change in today's rules, students have 30 days to leave. Is this a way, hey, look, if we do it early in the season like this, it increases the likelihood that these kids stay? Could that be a reason why they do it now versus at the end of the season?
I think they both anyway. I talking to my son, he said that I guess there's only going to be one window, he was saying. So maybe the spring window closed. So now it's just December portal window. Mm-hmm. So I think regardless, you fire them at the beginning or the end of the season, I think a lot of them guys are jumping ship.
Yeah.
That's,
at least if they stick around, they've got a fighting chance, right, of maybe turning something around, but without losing too many kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to know how loud he said, just send me my check.
Yeah. Here's the address. All right. Did you guys go out and get your Halliburton shoes yet?
They don't make them in size 18.
The Halliburton ones were released 2 days ago. That's the look of, by Puma.
Okay.
I'm not sure why the color blue, but they look short.
I was just wondering that too.
Yeah.
That's probably just the shoe that was there.
These dudes are all about colorways, though, because they'll wear pink or green shoes and they're, blue and yellow. So they don't care about that anymore.
We couldn't do that back in the day. Like, your colorways had to be the color of the jersey or something like that. Now it doesn't matter. Like, it's nowhere close. It can be lime green and it could be the Lakers. They don't care. Purple and shoes, LeBron shoes, pink. So,
Well, and I see Tyrese also responded in a tweet. He changed his Twitter handle. Apparently, he was not a fan of the Hallie moniker, and he preferred Reese or Ty or any combination of the two. But now he's starting to catch on with the Hallie that everyone's been calling him. So get out and get your Hallie 1 shoes before they're sold out. In other basketball news, Monte Morris signs with the Pacers, so he's going to be a teammate of Tyrese Halliburton, although Tyrese is probably not going to play this season with
I hope not.
With the injury. You think there's a chance he'll come back? Did you see that what's the guy from Boston, Jason?
He would be stupid to come. Like, there's absolutely no reach for what? For what?
Yeah.
The team is going to probably be terrible, even though the Fever is having a better year this year without Caitlin Clark. But the team is probably going to be terrible. So him coming back is going to do what? And Jason Tatum the same way. Let that season be what it is. Get a better player in the draft, and then you come back next year. Like, what's the point? I can see if it happened earlier in the year, but Tyrese got hurt at the last game of the season, and Jason Tatum got hurt a couple of weeks before that.
I was surprised how much mobility Tatum had, though. I think it was on Instagram or wherever it was that I saw it on social media. I was surprised at how mobile he was. Now, granted, it was a short clip. It was isolated, so you're not seeing him out there running around the basketball court for an hour or so, and he's just in a drill format. But I was surprised after 4 months how well he is moving. So maybe there's a chance.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm agree with Marcus. There's no reason for him to go back.
Right.
And speaking of Iowa State injury news, Tamin Lipsey was announced earlier in the week that he has a grade 2 MCL sprain in his knee that occurred Tuesday in practice. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. 4 weeks will mean that he misses the first exhibition game against Creighton. 6 weeks means that he would miss both the Creighton game and the Northwestern exhibition and the home opener against Fairleigh Dickinson. So do you hold him back and just play conservative for the 6 weeks?
All of them.
Or do you bring him back in as soon as he's ready?
Miss all of them. Well, I mean, you said 2 exhibition games, and then who did you say? Fairleigh Dickinson?
Fairleigh Dickinson, a home opener.
Miss all of them. What's the point? There's no point. Like, he's the catalyst. He's Tyrese. He's Jason Tatum for the Iowa State Cyclones. Miss all of them.
Well, and I think it gives the new guys a chance. There's Killian Torrey and Jamarian Bateman, who it gives them a chance to run the show and gives them a lot of playing time early on. If they can get 2 exhibition games in the home opener, that'd be great experience for those guys to come in and just experience Hilton, experience that high level competition. Because Creighton, they're a top 10 team, so to be able to go up against them, I think that would be a great opportunity for them to see what they can do and give them some experience early on in running that team.
Yeah, exactly. Right, you want to have players that.
Go ahead, Sal.
Yeah, I was going to say you want to have players that typically don't get a lot of playing experience throughout the course of the season. To be able to step up and play against competitive teams like Creighton, I think that's just going to do nothing but help them for their future. So yeah, I'm all for having Lipsey sit out. I mean, probably even more, right?
Right. I mean, because at that stage of the season, if he's not 100% against a team like Creighton, how is that going to help him also? I mean, that can cause more of an issue or whatever. So, hopefully we win, and if we don't, it's still early in the season, and the young guys be able to get some, the new guys be able to get some burn, and we keep moving on from there. I lost the drink,
and I think, I think a lot of people that are not on the athlete side, they don't realize that rehab is more often than not harder than practice, especially harder than games. So it's not like he's going to be losing any, conditioning. I mean, there's a difference between, conditioning and game conditioning, obviously. But, I think the longer he sits out, the better off Iowa State basketball team is going to be for next year. For this year, I should say.
Well, and Marcel, Mr. Pfizer will tell you that practices were worse than games for him.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I hear all about the nightmarish practices that Larry Eustace had back in the day.
And they weren't anything short of a nightmare. You know how this is what people claim. There's a sheet that guys used to sign saying that we didn't used to practice X number of hours a week. Marcus Pfizer's name has never been on that sheet. Because I told him, don't put it in my face. We practice more than that in 2 days. However many hours y'all play, I know we're practicing more than that in 2 days. So practice was hell.
All right, fellas. Our Cowboys are on.
They got the lead.
Yeah. Well, do they have the lead yet?
Yeah,
anything I missed that we want to bring up, talk about the show?
I missed what you said. What you said?
Brent, what you got going on at Coaches before we close out for the night?
Nothing this coming weekend. Doing some pumpkin stuff, dropping some pumpkin stuff, and doing our little take on a Ruben Kalachi. And I'll do a little bit of queuing this month. So same stuff, different day, man.
All right, you'll get it out on the social media so we can all tweet that out there and get everyone into the shop then?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, thanks everyone for joining us. Marcel, it has been a joy to have you on. You're more than welcome to come on anytime, and we love talking football with you.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you,
everyone else, it's been a privilege for you to join us tonight. And please remember our sponsors, for who without we would probably not have this podcast. So thank you to Revelton Distilling Company. Saw Rob Taylor on Monday night at the special event that Chris Shipley and I hosted for Old Man Strength. Had a lot of fun with Will Keeps. So if you have a chance to go back and listen to that or watch that on YouTube through Three Beards Media, we'd love to have you do that. And then Styled by JJ Boutique, who again had a chance to meet her on Monday night, and she's put together, I can guarantee you that if you're looking for some good styles for either yourself and especially for the woman in your life, that's a place to go. So thanks everyone for joining us. And again, thank you to our studio sponsor, Andrew Downs and AKC Marketing. And that's another episode of Inside the Storm. See you next time. Go Cyclones.
Go Cyclones.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Sal.
When the team takes flight, Hilton's rocking, hear the magic call. We rise together, we'll never fall. There's a cyclone brewing on the outskirts tonight. Check right shakes when the team takes flight. Hilton's rocking, hear the magic call. We rise together, we'll never fall.